classified until this soldier gets to stay in for his career. But we are working it very aggressively. ATLJ.over 877-989-2255.
Let's go to Bill, who's calling from Seattle on line 1. Bill, you're on the air.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Jay. Yesterday you noted that the Master Sergeant who wrote up Sergeant Martland, who praised Sergeant Martland as an outstanding soldier and said that if he had known that his write-up would have resulted in Martland's expulsion, he would have pushed back against some of the guidance that he received when he was writing it up. My question is, what kind of guidance is there, and how do you get a copy of it?
Well, we can't get a copy of it because it's his personnel file, but Skip can, I'm sure, address this because Skip was a colonel in the United States Army. The staff sergeant said, knowing now what has happened to this soldier, he said was the best soldier he served with in his 20 years. That's what he said about Sergeant Martland. Dedicated to defending our country, our freedoms, our liberty. He would never have done this, and he thought he got bad guidance. So what is, I think Bill's asking you a really important question. What does that mean?
Well, I think what happened was that this became a political issue, and when he was preparing the report, the NCOER, the NCO efficiency report, that he was pressured to mark a couple of blocks negatively. And I think the Master Sergeant had been in the Army long enough that he would not have done that based on the fact of the guy's performance and given what he did without having been pressured from above. But that in and of itself is unlawful.
Yeah.
You cannot pressure that. This more senior guy could have made something negative, but to pressure the guy who's actually writing it is unlawful. Now, I don't know if the Master Sergeant is willing to say some of those things.
Well, he has. No, he's publicly said it. He's publicly said it.
I mean, in a forum where it's going to make a difference.
That I don't know. Right. That we don't know, but he is publicly saying it. He's very disappointed that this Sergeant First Class Charles Martland's going to be thrown out of the Army because of this. Now, it was interesting, people have been calling about the genocide thing. So the President was at the prayer breakfast today, would not call what's going on against Christian genocide, but here's what he said.
We pray for God's protection for all around the world who are not free to practice their faith, including Christians who are persecuted or who have been driven from their ancient homelands by unspeakable violence. We want other countries to respect the rights of religious minorities. We, too, respect the right of every single American to practice their faith.
Another portion of that bite that said, we pray for God's protection from all around the world who are not free to practice their faith. He talked about the unspeakable violence. What he didn't talk about is calling what's happening to Christians genocide. And that is a big difference. Persecution